Hello folks, Jeff here, doing another Fallout 4 video. This one I want to do an update to the multi-level planter, shelf planter that I did a couple of videos ago. And anyway, I figured something out with that makes it a lot easier to do. But before I do that, I just wanted to go over real quick a little thing I've been trying with the settlements. This is Sanctuary. This is my first settlement, and I had really no clue about settlement building, but I like to goof around and experiment. So I was just trying to figure out how to get the happiness level up, and obviously adding bars and trading shops helped. And here I used a creation club because it came with my Game of the Year edition. So I put in some arcade games, and learned a little trick with beds. Since they don't have bunk beds in the build pack, I learned how to make them myself. One thing I did learn over the weeks of playing this game is you really don't want to put them too close together. This is a little too tightly packed. You want it at least wide enough so two NPCs can stand next to each other. Otherwise you'll start getting bed shortage complaints. So like I had 8 beds in here, and I had to shrink it down to 4 because they couldn't get into bed. Another thing I learned was this is the old player house, if you remember, where the player starts. And I went ahead and this is right after I started watching Schooled Zone. I learned how to use the NOR gate and make a switch to to open and close the door from either side. And I had made a little private room here to sleep and store stuff in, and every time I'd use it there'd be an NPC in here wandering around, and I had like armor chests and stuff back here, and they could wander around back here and get access to all that stuff. So this is the first private room I ever made, and pretty much the last one, at least in any settlement that's populated. There's the gate. So and I also learned wire glitching, which I was really glad to learn. For some reason my settlement happiness here has dropped down to 41. When it was low before, I came in and they were complaining about beds, so I added a few more beds, and they were happy for a little while. Now they're complaining again, and I don't know why. And one of the caveats of Bethesda that I have, or an issue with Bethesda that I have, is that you don't get any real communication. So hear that?
It's making everyone a bit cranky.
People have to sleep in shifts, making everyone a bit cranky. So I decided what I'm going to do here is an experiment I've been running at other settlements, and I rarely get bed complaints, especially on the last one I built. Oh, and just a quick tour here. This is my power armor garage, or my first one. Here's the armor from the Nuka-Cola boss, and Vim power armor, and some rusty armor I've been finding around the Commonwealth. I have some XO1 armor that I use, but I don't have it here. This is the robotics shop, which I'm going to move to, I guess I'm going to call that Lighthouse Trina's Tower, because that's the name of the player I use. The player is female, and she's named after the first girlfriend I ever had, so that's where that name comes from. Anyway, I wanted to try female because I'm always playing male all the time, and I just wanted to mix it up a little bit. Really haven't noticed much of a difference, other than I pay more attention to her when she's in dialogue with other characters, and some strange obsession to try on all the clothes I find in the Commonwealth. This room I was going to use for manufacturing. I just haven't thought of anything I want to do with it yet.
Need to get back to Diamond City one of these days.
That's a new settler,
Biggest town I ever saw.
and he's sitting in my spot. That's the first spot I ever made where I'd sit and just watch settlers do things. And this is my first try of a delay switch. I put some lights up there and then a delay switch, and I wanted to see how far I could see that. You actually can't go very far before this this light post disappears. So anyway, that's a sanctuary, at least of much of it as I want to talk about without making the video too long. So I'm going to try and redo this one, and I'm going to give you a view of some of the other settlements I've been experimenting with. So the next one I'm going to go to is Grey Garden. Okay, this is Grey Garden, and this is my first attempt to make a kind of a compound like, not unlike the Antarctic station, science station. I just wanted to put all the beds on one level. I haven't had any bed complaints from here. Happiness isn't super great, but I think it's being held down by the robots because they naturally decrease happiness if there's too many of them here. This level is the bar. I've got a nice open view. And then the next level up is defense. And so far it's been working out pretty well. But one thing I think is really cool about this is these guys constantly get attacked by super mutants. And they always spawn right here in this area, right on the ground. And the same thing with Sanctuary. I've been attacked by feral ghouls, and they just pop up right in the middle of everything, amidst all my walls and everything. So I just dissed the whole wall fortification entirely because it really doesn't help. I found the best thing to do is just have elevated turrets that get access, you know, to most of the base. I have a turret tower over there, and another one at the end there, and this has worked out pretty well. The last one of these I built, obviously I improve upon it as I build them because I think of things I didn't think of before, is at Nordhagen Beach, so let's go there. Okay, this is Nordhagen Beach, and the last settlement I built, actually this isn't the last, I did a short build in Vault 88, but it's just kind of something I threw together just so people have some food and a place to sleep. But this one is the last one I actually worked extensively on, and it's another compound version. I decided to add the greenhouse next to it, and at the bottom of all these I always have my own little vault, which is I can store power armor. I have a couple of terminals, one for managing the population, the other one for controlling turrets. I noticed that the population control, or the population management console, not turret, console, it can do the same things as a regular terminal, but occasionally those options disappear. So I have to add the regular terminal just to, you know, make sure I always have access to those things. And this is something else I've been adding in just about every settlement I build, is the safe, I guess. And I just make it really tight in here, so that way no NPCs can spawn in here, and I keep chests full of armor and weapons and stuff, and, you know, 'cause I don't want them, you know, taking stuff, so I kind of put it out of reach. And again, I like the idea of these settlements being raised, because that way your enemies spawn on the ground. And it also lets me use land that's like this, you know, it's uneven, it's hard to build on, so just drop some scaffolding and build up. The garden's working out great. I put a little, you know, general store, trade shop there. I've been trying to add as many bars as I can. I usually try to keep the bars upstairs in the rec room, but anyway, I don't know, I got to keep working with it. I'll probably just have this all be bars up here, and then just keep the trade shops down on other levels. I'm thinking I might even have one on the ground somewhere, you know, obviously for people just passing through. I also decided to utilize the glass, which I really like. You know, it gives a nice warm enclosed feeling. Tried some different tables. Put some exercise stuff in here, which the settlers always use. And usually I have access to the roof right here too, but I wanted to enclose this more. and I moved the access to the side. I've kind of threw this together, so, but it seems to work. And I'm trying to build this particular one up because I imagine when I finish the Brotherhood quest, this is going to get attacked pretty frequently. So I'm armoring up my guards and my scavengers really well, because they scavengers do some patrolling, and so they make kind of good walk-around guards.
Another day of hard work. It never changes.
Anyway, so yeah, here's my workbenches and scavenger stations right back there, and I've got some water purification pumps out there.
Crop's been growing pretty good lately.
Alright, so that's done. Now on to the tutorial I was talking about.
The farm's not much.
I figured out a better way to build these things, because it was such a pain in the butt trying to put this one in. I don't know if any of you tried it yet, because you know the laying down the rugs and putting the top shelf gourd in. I always use gourds because melons are too big; they look too tacky on here. But the first shelf gourd is just it takes forever, which makes kind of building these quickly impractical because you can't.
Easy living, this ain't.
Yeah, it's always annoying. Rugs, yeah, they just you really got to have a nice flat space to work, or your rugs look tacky. Well, that'll do for the purposes of a demonstration video. But yeah, flat ground, if you can find it, use it. Okay, so always the big issue is dropping in the first gourd on the first shelf. That's always been a big pain in the butt. And I believe I found a way to solve it. Anyway, what I figured out is I think what works best, I gotta get this kind of far away so I can see. You figure out where you want the gourd to go. Odds are it's going to come up, and then grab your shelf. And there you go. I mean, obviously it's not perfect because I got all these angles I got to deal with, but for the most part, you know, it took me so much time. You know, I'd spend, 15 minutes, 20 minutes just trying to finagle where that thing's supposed to sit, and it's frustrating and makes the whole idea of doing this impractical. So when I was at Dalton Farm, I needed to build a lot of these, so I figured that out. I tried all kinds of different things trying to figure out what would be the best way to work. Well, we just got a sloppy gardener. I'll have to deal with him later. Alright, so now my food shortage is now non-existent. get that in an angle where I can see how it, if it's gonna hit the base molding or whatever that is at the bottom of the window. That's good. Awesome. Save.
If you ain't been up to see Great Garden,
Alright.
you should go.
Anyway, that's how that works. Saves a lot of time now that you don't have to do guesswork on how to put that first shelf gourd in there. Just a quick note, another trick I learned, in case anybody wants to know. I always use double stairs because come wake up time around 6 o'clock and evening time around 8 o'clock when everyone goes to the bar, everybody goes at once. You know, it's all like clockwork, and Bethesda obviously didn't put in very good traffic control, so people would always get jammed up on these stairs. I like using scaffolding stairs because, well, they're wider than most stairs. And I used to put two right next to each other because it looked pretty cool, and there's handrails. You know, I like handrails. But I just had too many traffic issues, and the thing that solved it was to use, if I'm going to do double stairs, if one of them's wooden, like the inside one, for some reason the settlers just know how to navigate wooden stairs. It's probably because of the lack of railing, but if I put one of those in, then, you know, everything works fine and they can get around just fine. So just thought you should know that. Alright, so thanks for watching, and take care.